My project is Inventra. This is a multi-agent engine. So this is generally used to assess and protect invention architectures prior to capital spending. So now here we have an invention evaluator here. So when the user enters the idea, we'll have a lot of sub-agents here which will evaluate the idea and tell the user whether this idea is unique or not, and whether this can be actually published into a patent or a journal paper. Now let's click the available template. Now, if I deploy the multi-agent pipeline, you can see the agents are being awakened. There are multiple agents inside my application, and each one of them will be awakened one by one. So let it complete. Okay. So now this has been completed. Now you can see the innovation verdict here. So here the success potential of this idea is 75%. So this means that it's on an average mode. Okay. So these are not there'll be multiple agents here. I'll demonstrate each one of them separately. Now we can see the novelty rating, commercial viability, and competitive throughput density. Okay, now then comes the risk mitigation directive. So what are the risks of this idea and how to mitigate them? This will be specified here. And then comes the innovation dashboard. So in innovation dashboard, we can see the visual code analysis. So generally, how well is this idea has been performing in the industry. And then comes the novelty, market, and competitive fit, and overall potential. So using these criteria, the 75% has been obtained. And then comes the debate summary. So this is nothing but the debate agent. So the first one is coordinator agent, which is nothing but the innovation dashboard. And the next one is nothing but the debate agent, which summarizes the key strengths and weakness of this idea. So the key strengths are nothing but integration of aquaponics in a compact kitchen pot and so on, and conflicting points are nothing but this is very highly competitive. And then comes the identify risks and recommended improvements for this idea to be a very unique one. And then comes the final debate conclusion. Okay, and then comes the novelty agent. So the novelty agent generally checks how unique my idea is. You can see the novelty score generated 75 out of 100, right? So each one of this contributes separately to the final score, that's I think but 75. Now we can see the common market parameters. What are the common market parameters, and what are the core original innovations? So since this is an already existing idea, so you can see the core original innovations done by me since I've clicked this idea. So these are my innovations in this idea. And then what are the common parameters that exist already while this idea has been invented? And then comes detailed audit reasoning. Okay, so this generally depicts this generally summarizes the common market parameters and the core original innovations. Then comes the market demographics. So in market demographics, we generally analyze the target audiences. So who are the target audiences and what are the projected drivers and the critical barriers. So if I overcome these barriers, my idea may be a very unique one. And then comes the feedback summary. So what are the feedbacks or what are the improvements that must be given into this idea to make it a very unique one. And then comes the competitor gaps. In this, we generally analyze the gap exploitation and mode dynamics. So who are the competitors and what are the weaknesses, and what are the gaps that are being identified from the competitors. So these are nothing but how well our application is compared to the competitors. And then we also have a very big defensive tech mode advantage. So in this it generally depicts how well our idea is than the competitors, or how well is that idea so they can overcome the competitors' weakness. And then the MVP enhancements. So MVP enhancements, we generally give out structural improvements. So since it's an agent, the agent will definitely give out feedback, right? So we have to use these feedbacks, structural improvements, and we have to expand the future features. And then we'll be able to build a very good application or very good idea. And then comes the VC audit report. This is the this is the final data that runs in the application. So this is nothing but a summarization of all the other agents that have been demonstrated here. Okay, we can download this report as well. And then comes the inspect Python source. So in this inspect Python source, we'll be able to see the code of each one of the agent. Okay, this is coordinator.py, novelty agent, and market. So there are more than, I think, 6 or 7 agents here. So everything, like every agent's code will be available. So the person evaluating or person using this agent will be able to understand how the agent works. Thank you.